The unprecedented violence that this nation has in post-independence era, only after the 1984 anti-Sikh riots, they were engineered riots by the Congress. Now, similar violence has happened in Delhi, and this is far more serious. The very man who supervises the Delhi police made sure that the police stood as mute spectators to the hooligans, to the criminals, the gundas who came from where it is yet to be, researched and investigated. They were systematically going and particularly targeting the Muslim community in this violence. The way that police has behaved shows a pre-planned, meditated situation reminiscent of the 2002 riots in Gujarat. Those were so unprecedented that the Supreme Court of India made sure that the most sensitive cases were transferred out of Gujarat because there was no atmosphere that justice can be done. Now, most fortunately, Delhi High Court makes sure that the three BJP leaders, one Kapil Mishra, who is a BJP leader there, he is an ex-MLA. Number two, Anurag Thakur, who is a union minister, Minister of State for Finance. And then Parvesh Verma, who is an MP. Their most provocative statements just before the violence began are of the deepest concern. If police had any sense of responsibility and dedication to their profession, they should have immediately arrested them and put them in prison. It reminds me of an excellent article that I have recently read in an English newspaper where a district magistrate confronted then the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and told him, look, the reason that I have put him in jail is because he wants to take a dead body procession and it will start a communal riots. And it is my duty to maintain law and order. So the civil servants have simply failed here. And the man who should be most responsible and accountable, the Home Minister, has at least prima facie planned this whole thing as it appears. And he particularly makes sure that when the Delhi High Court takes notice of the provocative speeches of these three BJP leaders and orders that an FIR should be registered them in 24 hours, Tushar Mehta, the central government advocate, says that no, give us some more time. He says, how many more people you want to dead before you do this? When it is so apparent because all those videos were played in the High Court. Now that judge gets transferred by a notification at 11 o'clock at night. This is simply unprecedented. This Amit Shah is a black mark and he is a man who is most unworthy of occupying a responsible position, almost number 2 in the Union Cabinet. And he has gone already to jail for very high crimes in the past. And the way he has been tolerated by the Supreme Court and investigation was not ordered into Judge Loya's case shows how powerful and how disgustingly he is affecting the very important and delicate and sensitive balance between the judiciary, the executive and the legislature. Now when the judiciary wants to do its job, he most shamelessly and irresponsibly sees that he is transferred. Now, all that thing that we hear about Collegium having done all that, that is okay. But when the judge takes a firm stand and asserts the independence of the judiciary to say that in 24 hours you file FIRs, he should have been allowed to continue to take that to the logical conclusion. So he must resign if he has any sense of accountability, any sense of shame in public life. If he does not, Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, should immediately sack him because he is an affront not only to our constitution but centuries-old civilization of human values that our sons and Sharanas have nurtured over the centuries. And he is a man who should never be in such a position. In fact, he is not a man who should be in public life, as I told about D.K. Shivakumar. He should be in jail because there are not responsible central governments and enough courageous judges in the judiciary that he has remained in such positions. And I think time has come that he must be sacked by the Prime Minister. if the Prime Minister does not do, I tell the young people of this nation, just like they sent home the Mr. Patel, Chibanbhai Patel in Gujarat, and then later Jayaprakash Narayan's movement in 1977 March, not only Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister, she lost her own MP election. Her notorious son Sanjay Gandhi, responsible for all the atrocities, also lost. 2/3 of the cabinet lost. Congress government lost power for the first time. And similar situation will definitely meet the present central government's fate in 2024 if they don't learn from these historical, grave and high crimes that the Home Minister has committed. And such a person should never be in public life is what is my firm conviction. And I urge the students of this country who have come out, the soul of this country is awake, they must see that such a man will not remain in public life. Just as it was done in Gujarat, later it was done in Bihar, and later it was done at the center. We must learn from history. As the saying goes, only fools don't learn from history, and that should not happen.